welcome to the 2017 awards banquet ceremony. We obviously have a lot to celebrate tonight, considering the season that we had. A couple quick announcements and thank yous that we want to give out. First of all, Touchdowns Productions is filming the banquet, which is pretty special. And so in the corner there, they are selling, I think he said 9 different games that they were at this season. And so obviously those are some great keepsakes, things that you can have forever. And so if you're interested in buying the Touchdown Production DVDs, they're back there in the corner. Obviously, another huge thank you to Auburn Grace Church, Lori Halbert, Pastor Phil. They're back there in the corner. If we could give them a round of applause. A cool event that they wanted me to announce tonight, and it's up in the, they have flyers for this, but January 27th, it's a Saturday, from 9 to 11, they have a guest speaker named Otis Amy, a former 49er, played at Sac State, has an incredible testimony, incredible story. He will be here on the 27th, and so if you are looking for something to do, looking for something that will be pretty fun to listen to, the former NFL football player that played for the 49ers will be here on the 27th. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to have Mr. Capra come up here and say the blessing. We have in the back, we have Lacey and crew have prepared an incredible meal. Let's give them a huge round of applause as well. Throughout the season, the coaches always go last, and so tonight is the one time of the year where we let the coaches and their families go first, and then the ladies, and then the gentlemen. And so we should have plenty of food. And so after we pray, we'll start with the coaches and the families, and then the ladies will be next, and we will eat. So Joey?
Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you for an incredible season. Thank you for all the support we had and all the incredible families that stuck with us all the way till the end. Please bless this food to our bodies. And thank you for a great year, Lord. In my name, amen.
Let's eat. Like I've already said, welcome to the 2017 awards banquet where we get to celebrate an incredible season where obviously we have a lot of hardware up here to remember the accomplishments that this team and this coaching staff, this community were able to be a part of. Before we started, we have several thank yous that we'd like to give out. First of all, that meal was incredible. Let's give a round of applause again to the people serving the dinner. We have a couple of awards in particular for people that we are going to honor. The first one is for our Booster Club president, Chris Ferreira. Needless to say that this year the board, and I have them written down here, Mona, Renee, the Trolls, Julie, Melissa, Lacey, Dana, Cheryl, Melanie, Jen, Lori. This is one of, if not hands down, one of the best boards that we've ever had, and that's saying something because we've had some incredible people serve on the Booster Club this year. And I always say that that the kids are spoiled, but that's really the wrong word to use because these guys do work their tails off, but we are very, very, very blessed. And so while this individual award goes to Chris Ferreira, I know that it represents the entire board, and so let's give a round of applause to Chris and the board. And as you coach over the years, you get special families that come through the program, and you get to coach in a lot of cases multiple boys and multiple sons. And here's another lady and family that we'd like to say a special thank you to. Tracy Callahan has been our team mom. Obviously, she's not only a lot of fun, she's probably one of the most popular people I've ever met. But Tracy and Steve and the family have been awesome. And we bought a gift card for them to Auburn Ale House for $75 for a date night for the two of them. And if they want to bring the other three, they can. But let's give a round of applause to Tracy Callahan. Yes, you have to at least come up here. Some other thank yous. Dana and Cheryl wanted me to, everyone who put on a team dinner for us this year, came out of pocket a lot. And so we have 4 families that are here who provided a team dinner, and they get a plaque. And so if we can have a representative, or Mona, if Mona could come up, or from the Bachman family. Besseman, the Bessemans, he's got a long ways to come. Nina, obviously. You come up and get this. The Bishops. I see the Bishop clanners back there. One announcement about the Bishops. This Saturday, their second daughter is getting married to Spencer, so let's give them a round of applause as well. And last but not least, the Meyer family. Huge thank you to those families for providing a meal, but also a huge thank you to Dana and Cheryl for organizing all these things. They are awesome, and their families, and so if we can give them a round of applause too, that'd be great. Tonight, because it's kind of a special night, we have something different. We're actually going to show a video tonight, and usually we don't do that, but because of the year, we were very lucky to have this guy who's a former player of ours tag along with us this year. You've probably seen some of the videos on YouTube, the Uncommon videos, but Luke Cardelli is up there in the peanut gallery. If we can give him a round of applause. Obviously, everyone who sponsored us financially throughout the season, thank you very much. To you, the parents, we can't thank you enough. You have given us and put us in charge of a special group of young men that was an honor to coach. But last but not least, most importantly to us up here, our wives and girlfriends of coaches, if we can give them a huge round of applause. That segues me into introducing our coaching staff, but people don't realize, after we won our CIF title, I got a text from a buddy of mine who coaches down in Oakdale, and, the first thing he said is, you need to hug your wife and your kids because they sacrifice a lot. They enable us to do our passion, to pursue our dreams of working with high school guys and teaching them the game of football. And it's a 7-day-a-week job that we are really not financially compensated for, but we do it because of the love of the kids and the difference we get to make in their lives, but also the love of football. And had we not had the support from the home front, none of us would be able to do this with the longevity that we've done it. And so, once again, let's give those ladies a round of applause. Now I'd like to introduce the coaching staff. And I think our community appreciates just how good of a coaching staff that we have, but I truly can stand up here before you and I could say I believe that these guys get to play for some of the best coaches, not only in the state of California, but the entire country. Just to kind of give you some fun facts, my dad was being a dad, and he gave me some interesting statistics about the last 10 years that these guys have accomplished. And this just puts things in perspective, just how blessed we are as a community to have these men working with our kids. And The first interesting stat, though, in the last 10 years, this coaching staff has produced over 95 wins and have won over 75% of their games that they've coached in. They've been to 10 straight playoff appearances. They've played in 10 straight league title games and have won 6 of them in a row. They've had 4 trips to the CIF finals, obviously winning a CIF championship this year. And kind of a fun statistic, just giving the PVL a nice goodbye as we leave. This coaching staff was 45-7 in the last 10 years. 8-2 against Colfax, 8-2 against Lincoln, 12-2 against Center because we played them multiple times in the playoffs, 8-0 against Foothill, I know that's a big shock, and 9-1 against Bear River. And lastly, also to add to that, a Northern California championship and a state runner-up. Let's give these coaches a round of applause. And so introducing our coaching staff from my left and your right, next to the ball boy Liam, Coach Eric Egan. The longest tenured coach on the staff has been here since '78, I believe, the year I was born, Coach Senior. Pride and competition for the coolest coach on staff, Coach Yuli. Another teacher on staff, Coach Wacom. Another teacher on staff, Coach Rodarty. And Coach Senior is a retired teacher. Another teacher on staff, Coach Petromonaco. Another teacher on staff, Coach Murphy. I believe Coach Murphy has been here since either 1990 or 1991. Another coach on staff, Coach Besselman. And another teacher on staff, I believe has been here since 1993, Coach Sabins. And now we're going to introduce the team, starting with the underclassmen. So we're going to call them up one by one as they're going to get a packet that's full of a bunch of goodies. You know, the nice thing is we had a group of sophomores that came up with us starting in the playoffs, but they were with us for 6 weeks, almost an entire season. And so we have decided that we are going to letter them. They also have an opportunity to get a ring if they've decided. And then the kids that have been with us all season long will get a championship jacket, which is a long-standing tradition that we have not been able to give out since 1981 when you've won a CIF title. And also a championship shirt, and my favorite part on it is on the side, it says success. And so that's kind of a So as we call you up one by one, you can come up here, you're going to get your stuff. You'll come through this section right here, get your things, and you could start the line at the end of the railing right there. First guy, Mr. Groth. Hans Grassman, fullback, defensive end. Running back, linebacker, Marshall Chapman. Wide receiver, defensive backs, Mr. Styron. Tight end, defensive end, Lewis Fudge. Offensive line, defensive line, Mater. Wide receiver, defensive back, Kane Sugar. He found it. Offensive line, defensive line, Colton McElroy. Defensive line, offensive line, Isaiah Claiborne. Running back, safety, Ryan Arnell. Linebacker, multiple positions. Played offensive line, fullback, and tight end. Chase, the good squat, the guana. I have a feeling he wrote this himself. Defensive back, wide receiver, Carson, Big Sexy, SBS, but that is actually on the packet. I think he snuck that one on there. Linebacker, running back, Andrew Garza. Running back, linebacker, Brad Bishop. Running back, defensive back, Jorge Maldonado. Tight end, defensive end, Chandler Dakin. Offensive line, defensive line, Josh Troll. Offensive line, defensive line, Hayden Hansen. Offensive line, defensive line, Joey Capra. Quarterback, Michael Stuck. Free safety. Coach Peschmonico, you want to introduce one? Linebacker, offensive line, Z. Zarin Fuller. Offensive line, defensive line, Jake Hall. One of the sophomores that came up, Mitchell Moore. Keith Mesereau. Skinner Plunkett. Mr. Robinson, Evan Robinson. This guy claims to be even the bigger Section 1. Mr. Young Espinal. Defensive end, offensive line, Micah Yoakum. Andy Alvarez. Mr. Monroe. I've met this guy before. Jackson Sabins. Retired ball boy. Mr. Russell. Interior defensive line, offensive line, Jesus Castillo. Mr. Bender. Chase Esty. Offensive line, defensive line, center, Kyle Christensen. Austin Hollitz. Mr. Maloney. Wiggum. I think I've met you before. Drew Vincent. Offensive line, defensive line, Blake Bachman. And last but definitely not least, for the underclassmen, wide receiver, safety, Ian House. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously the future is bright. Let's give a huge round of applause to our underclassmen. You guys can have a seat. Thank you very much. When you have a special year, you do things a little different. Usually we introduce the entire team all together, seniors involved, but this year was different for obvious reasons. And so here's a couple of interesting facts about the senior class. So everything I'm going to share with you, they would agree with. And so let's start first. You got to start first with the negative before you can get to the absolute positive that the senior class provided for us. The first day of summer football, they had 8 players show up to summer camp. First day of summer football. Their sophomore year, when Coach Petromonaco was first year, one of the greatest coaching jobs ever, we had to bring up a couple, at that point, freshmen to come up so we had enough numbers for a team. In the end, we ended up with 11 seniors total. But the 11 that were left were 11 of the greatest players, people that any of us as coaches have ever worked with. Couple fun stats. This is the first senior class, it's the first class since 1980 to win a league championship all 4 years. Johnny Callahan, his freshman year, came in my office and he said, "Coach, we're going to win a state championship." And he dang near kept his promise. And this was the first senior class to win a CIF title since 1981. And it's also the first senior class to ever win a Northern California championship at Placer High School. So despite the adversity that these 11 seniors have endured, their accomplishments are second to none. And we are truly going to miss these young men because they are a lot of fun, and they were more than just good football players. They are phenomenal people. So we call them up one by one. You can come up and get your stuff, and you guys can stand right over there. The first one, wide receiver, defensive back, Travis Warren. Running back, defensive end, Mario Perez. Our kicker, who won us some big games this year, Ryan Meyer. Offensive line, defensive line, with some great speeches, Zach Schaefer. Offensive line, defensive line, Paul Banks. We'll say his name even though he's not here. Defensive line, Curtis Staggs. Safety, quarterback, Johnny Callahan. Wide receiver, defensive back, Ethan Lowry. Running back, defensive back, Anthony Kerrigan. Wide receiver, defensive end, Cameron Bemis. And last and obviously not least, safety, running back, then receiver, Cullen Wright. Ladies and gentlemen, 10 to the 11 strong, our 2000 football season 2017-2018 senior class. Let's give them a round of applause. You guys can have a seat. So we gave a thank you earlier in the program to a guy who spent countless hours creating these awesome videos, and he's assured me that the ones before the Center and Salinas game will be published and they will be put on YouTube as well. And obviously the Crenshaw game will also eventually be put on YouTube, and a couple extra little things. Just so you know, Luke, I know you're up there, but we bought you a jacket, championship jacket, because you're a part of this. And so after the banquet, make sure you pick this up. And once again, let's give Luke Cardelli a huge round of applause. And so this is different because it's been a special year. It's going to go a little longer tonight because of this video, but it's well worth your time. And so sit back and relax and enjoy Luke Cardelli's awesome video.
cannot stop until we break through. So take your best shot, make your move. Oh, step right up, who's next? You're messing with the best. We're active fire, coming in like lightning. Look how we're striking. Ready, set, let's go. This fire's blazing. We're troublemaking. We got you shaking. Ready, set, let's go. Ready, set, let's go. High volts through these veins. Trouble is our game. Keeping aces up every sleeve. Bringing rivals down to their knees. Oh, step right up. Who's next? You're messing with the best. Active fire, coming in like lightning. Look how we're striking. Ready, set, let's go. This fire's blazing. We're troublemaking. We got you shaking. Ready, set, let's go. Ready, set, let's go.
Hey guys, can everybody hear me? Yes. You never get up, I just like you look at me if you can hear me. What it's going to take tonight is an entire recommitment to a new season. All right, everybody's tired, right? And it's a long season, but we're not going to be tired starting tonight. Okay, so pick your buddy up, out hustle these guys. We don't worry about what they have, we worry about what we have. We know what we have. We've beaten some great teams this year, and we learned one lesson, and now here we are in the Northern California Championship, CIF. So it's going to take a recommitment, a rebirth, that we don't have anything to do with being tired. We're not tired, okay? I'll hustle these guys tonight. Go back to the fundamentals and the very basics of what we've done. And I'll tell you one thing about game night. Game night is the time that you do things you don't do during the week, okay? No matter how hard you're going, you always have more on game night. And ask any major spinner, I heard from Jerry Rice, myself, and Fred Biletnikoff, and they said, no matter how fast you're running, you can always pick up a step. Just pick up one step. Just think about a pass that goes off your fingertips. Too long. What happens if you can pick up one step? Tonight, let's do that.
Hey, I want y'all to look across to the other side. Look across to the other side. Those boys are trying to take this from you. This is what we worked for. They're trying to take it. Those guys right over there. Play for the guy next to you. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, it's been far too long since this has hung in our gym. Yes. It's been far too long. And I tell you what, you know, we've been here before. We've come up short a few times, and we finally freaking finished the deal. And I tell you what, this is dedicated not only to you guys, not only to our coaches, but to all the alumni, all the former coaches, all the Placer community, the Placer faithful. This is for all of us. This is for all of us. The Center came out, they gave us their best. They kept it exciting for sure. We had our back against the wall. We faced some adversity tonight, and we didn't bat an eye, fellas. You just stayed the course, you stayed confident, and you came up big when it mattered the most. We got a score to put it away. 4th down and short. Michael Stuck drops back with perfect protection. It's Bishop wide open. Bishop finishes the deal. We sealed the deal. And because of that, we're freaking section champs. Yeah. Hey, we got a few more weeks together, fellas. Embrace it. Enjoy it. And in case you didn't know, we're 3-0!
Everyone, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. True power, true power.
I am extremely excited to go play in their house. I don't know why, but for some reason, I have always loved playing at other teams' stadiums, almost more so than our own. As crazy as that might sound, but there's just something about going into somebody else's home and just smacking them around for 48 minutes and watching their stands and listening, and all you hear is that. When you hear silence out of their stands, that means we're doing our job.
My brother was watching Georgia play Auburn the other night, and Georgia on the sideline started doing this. Do you know what it means? Does anybody know what it means? No, they chop wood like we do tires. They chop wood, and the story behind it is you never know which swing is going to break the wood. They broke Auburn. Let's break Salinas tonight. Think about your tires. Let's out-hustle Salinas tonight. Let's out-physical them tonight.
My last story is this. We went down to Patterson a couple years ago. They're 11-0. They looked huge and physical on film. I just want to let you guys in on a little secret. Teams in this area don't know what our brand of physical is. That's the truth. That's a fact. Can't be disputed. We lift year-round. We do our thing with the tires. We run liners. They don't. We do. So keep that in your mind. If you have any doubt, say goodbye, because you know what? The outcome of tonight's already been decided. It was decided in June, July, August, September, October, November, and now December. All we gotta do now is just go out and get it. Have fun and take what's yours.
kick is up and good with 5:15 left in the opening quarter. Cowboys are up 21-0.
Hey! Have we already been down there?
Folks, once again, if you're in the hallway watching, we do need you to find a seat. Folks, you need to scoot close to one of you. Everyone to have a seat. Leave the hallways open for the fire marshal. This is for your own safety. Also,
Have we come this far just to let this go? I need to know from you. Yeah, I need to know from you. Is it cold outside? Leave it on your door. I need to know from you. Yeah, I need to know from you. If it's all the same, I'm gonna play a game. You're not gonna break me. Not gonna break me. Not gonna break me. Not gonna break me. This time around. Not gonna break me. Not gonna break me. Not gonna break me. This time around. This time around. Not gonna break me. This time around. Stay to the pain. And you need so bad. Bleed the life from me. Yeah. Bleed the life from me. Stay a place we know. Where we let this go. I need to know from you. Hey, I need to know from you. If it's all the same, I'm gonna play a game. You're not gonna break me. Not gonna break me. Not gonna break me. Not gonna break me. This time around. Not gonna break me. Not gonna break me. Not gonna break me. This time around. This time around. Not gonna break me. This time around. This time around. Not gonna break me. This time around.
Hey, if the football this, we have a choice of which end. You got it. You got it. More captains.
Players and they think all right for Cowboys. One.
Shake hands. We're going to go into the tiebreaker.
So, Mel, we still have a 25-second but no game clock, right? No game clock, 25 seconds.
So, yeah. I'm going to flip the coin. You guys are going to call. Your offense or defense. And then we'll get the other side. Tails will be the call.
Tails is the call.
Heads, who won the
Tails
draw?
always fair.
Who won the
Cowboys won the toss.
Hey, I think everybody's physically and emotionally spent. You know, and that's how you want to walk off the field, man. You know, we have Zarin playing with the hurt shoulder. You know, Mike facing adversity, making probably the 2 biggest passes of his career when it mattered the most. Guys freaking fighting and clawing. PAT block, we do it every Thursday. Garza goes in there like, oh, came in hot, spooked the guy just enough, and it was wide left. And because of that, fellas, we're moving on to the next round. Hey, I could not be more proud of you. This community was awesome tonight. They drove a long ways to support you. So how about we give them a round of applause? You know, you've earned it, fellas. We dictated for the first time in the school's history, in recent years at least, when our last game is. You've dictated it. You know that we have earned the final week of this 2017 football season. And you've done it because of your hard work. You've done it because of what you've done from January, what you did over the summer, what you did throughout the season, the film you've watched, the daily grind. You guys have stayed the course. And heck, once again, our backs were against the wall, 27-7. Now 27-7 again. The second time this year.
Yeah, baby.
And for the second time this year, you guys came back and freaking won the game. Proud of you guys. Couple announcements.
That looks good.
We need to have one more picture with this bad boy. And in case you didn't know, we're going to state! Great job, Luke. Incredible. Hard not to get choked up watching that. We're going to bring up, this year we have a lot to celebrate. There was a lot of awards given, and we're going to bring up the players who were voted on by the other coaches in the league. First team All-League, and then obviously we have some players who also were All-Metro, and then we have 3 players that were also All-Section. And so when you hear your name, you're going to come up here on the stage and you're going to get your certificate, and then there's also a patch for your Letterman's jacket. First team All-League quarterback, Michael Stuck. Junior. First team All-League tight end and honorable mention All-Sacramento, Lewis Fudge. Another junior, first team All-League linebacker, honorable mention All-Metro, Brad Bishop. First team All-League, honorable mention All-Sacramento wide receiver, Travis Warren. First team All-League, second team All-Metro, running back Mario Perez. First team All-League, honorable mention All-Sacramento, second team All-San Joaquin, running back Marshall Chapman. First team All-League, honorable mention All-Sacramento, offensive lineman Blake Bachman. First team All-League, first team All-Metro, All-Sacramento, second team All-CIF, junior offensive lineman Joey Capra. First team All-League, honorable mention All-Sacramento, offensive lineman Colton McElroy. Second team All-League, also playing in the Optimus games, senior safety Johnny Callahan. Second team All-League, sophomore offensive lineman Kyle Christensen. And then we had, for the first time, we had co-defensive MVPs for the PVL. First team, MVP of the defense, second team All-Metro, defensive back, Anthony Kerrigan. Co-defensive MVP, honorable mention All-Sacramento, linebacker Chase Luguana Squat. And just because we like to do this to him, first team All-League senior, Colin Wright. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2017 All-League, All-Sacramento, All-CIF team. You guys can have a seat. Go and have seats also.
I'm going to get us started with individual player awards, and these were voted on by the football team along with the coaching staff. This young man was not necessarily in the stat book or noticed during games, but we preach as a coaching staff that certain people need to find a role and take pride in their role as a part of this program. The coaches lead by example. Coach Sabins does a great job with fundraising and that kind of thing. Coach Murphy is the one bringing in bags. So we lead by example, and it translated into this young man. Couldn't be more proud of somebody. He got the Hillman Award, which signifies someone who is an ultimate teammate. This guy would be someone that, if we needed a roll of tape, he'd be the first one to volunteer to run down and get tape. Brad Bishop cramped, so he needed a special little cramp juice. Lowry would mix it on the sideline, and he would bring it right over to him. He would hold it. There's not a more responsible, bright, intelligent young man on this football team. This guy has unlimited potential, and I remember his first day. He came out as a junior. Never played football before in his life, and he didn't know left from right. But he was always there, willing to work hard, always on time, great work ethic, a fantastic teammate. You really can't do the things that we did in that video without players like Ethan Lowry. He's the glue that holds the team together. He is the level-headed participant on the team when you need somebody with an intelligent voice to calm people down. He would have a fanny pack at practice with tape and whatever else you needed. Truly an amazing, remarkable young man. I don't think you get any arguments from his teammates and coaches that there's no one more deserving. For the 2017 Hillman Award, Ethan Lowry.
These awards were voted on by their teammates, and all of these were nominated by their teammates.
The next Hillman Award goes to somebody that he's a 3.68 GPA in the classroom, so you would try to emulate him there. He's also one of the strongest guys in the weight room. If there's 5 sets, he does 5 sets. If somebody else tries to get out of it, he's there to bother them, which is greatly appreciated because that's one of the things that helped us this year was the weight room. Nobody lifts during season, we do. He's also the epitome of a great player on the football field because he's a great scout player. He doesn't care what other players think of him. We've got a bunch of plaques in the weight room of guys that were not the best friends on the football field. And this guy is right up there with them. He's a pain in the butt to the guys on the offense, doing the scout defense, and that's Paul Banks.
So this award goes to a kid that I've coached this kid for 3 years, and it's been a great experience. So the first year that I coached this kid, he had a lot of athletic talent, very strong. And this kid, he's a nice kid, very nice kid. He's smiles a lot when he's off the field. He's a nice kid when you meet him off the field. When you meet him on the field, he's not such a nice kid. And then the second year I was coaching this kid, he had a lot of learning to do. It was his learning year. This year, he became a beast on the field. He became a guy that hit people hard, very hard. And with the Hitter of the Year award this year for a guy who's not kind on the field. A very good kid, Chase.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, it's on. Boom. So I get the honor to introduce our Special Teams Player of the Year. And when I hear special teams, I think of Coach Murphy, what he used to say to us. And he used to say, not a lot of people like to play special teams because they want to be on offense, scoring touchdowns, or on defense, getting big hits, right? But the thing is that special teams are huge. They get us 1 points and 2 great field position. And I think this player did exactly that. He joined us in January, and he came out and practiced with me, and he was like, "Oh man, this is nothing like kicking a soccer ball, soccer player, right?" But he put in hard work, and he became a great kicker. And when the kids were conditioned, I'd say, "Hey, get conditioned with them." They would pull tires, and it wasn't because one was because I wanted them to get stronger legs, but 2 is because I wanted them to become mentally tough. Right? Pulling tires isn't easy. And as a kicker, you gotta have ice in your veins. Right? But in the beginning of the season, he failed. He missed a couple kicks, missed a couple kickoffs. But that didn't stop him. He kept putting in work, and eventually he went from being a kid to being a great young man. You guys saw in Selena games, he won 43 to 42. That goes to him. He put up that 1 point. So, with that being said, our Special Teams Player of the Year goes to Ryan Meyer.
Okay, I get to give out the Lineman of the Year award. And each week during team meal on Fridays, we give out Lips and Beasts. Lips are defensive awards for great hits, great plays on defense, interceptions, fumble recoveries, things like that. And on offense, we give out Beasts. And the Beast Award, or the Beast stickers that we give out, it's a little ogre-looking guy with a green head. And running backs get him for touchdowns, and quarterbacks get him for throwing touchdowns, things like that. But the True Beast Award, when you beat somebody, it means that you come off the ball low and hard. You strike them in the middle of the chest with great pad level, great striking surface. You move your feet, and you hit them so hard, move your feet so fast that they rise up off the ground, and they lose their balance, and they quiver on the way down, and they end up flat on their back. And you're face-to-face with them, and you say, hey, in about 15 seconds, I'm going to be back here. We're going to do this again. This year's Offensive Lineman of the Year, or Lineman of the Year, set the season record, single season record for Beast. He had 135. Means he did that 135 times in games this year. He's a two-time All-PVL offensive lineman, first-team All-Metro offensive lineman. Does a great job in the weight room, leads by example, and I think that the great thing about it is we get him back next year. There's a huge upside. He still can get better than 135 Beasts. Our offensive lineman, or Lineman of the Year, Joey Cowper.
Our next two awards are captain awards, and several different kids got votes all over the place, and I thought to myself that we needed to create an award for these next two young men. And I have the privilege of introducing the first one, and I think of what a captain truly is, and I think about the word leadership, and the most basic definition of leadership is influence. And I think about where this young man started from his freshman year. We had him in football PE his freshman year, and I remember thinking to myself, this is interesting. This guy's a little different. You know, usually when you meet a freshman, you know, and you walk up, you're the head coach, you know, the guys are kind of, aw's not the right word, but it's just that freshman respect that you get. And to this guy's credit, he was just like, yeah, whatever. And even though it caught me off guard, I respected it. Because I thought to myself, you know, I like it when kids are themselves. I like it when guys or ladies are not afraid to be themselves. And this guy was himself the entire time. Brought him up as a sophomore in the playoffs, and he got to contribute a little bit as a sophomore. But we obviously saw the athletic talent that this young man possessed. But his junior and senior year, he probably faced more adversity than any player we probably have ever coached. Multiple injuries plagued his career. Broke his foot and missed almost the entire preseason of his junior season. He came back, Colfax game, and went off. And I could say this about Anthony. Had we not had Anthony Kerrigan last year as a junior, we would not have won a league championship, and we definitely would not have played for a CIF title last year. Start of his senior year, he has an incredible offseason. And more importantly than the offseason and the accolades and what he was as an athlete was seeing him transform as a person, seeing him change, seeing him turn into a humble leader, seeing him have the right influence on his teammates and the program. Facing adversity again in preseason, had an injury, came back for the league, and was voted co-defensive MVP of the league. But realistically, without him, we definitely would not have played against Lincoln the way we did. He set the tone against Lincoln, which was for the league title this year, and we won it, and he was a major part of it. Broke his hand, first play against Woodland, broke his finger, put a cast on, played against Salinas, got hurt, rehabilitated it again, and played against Crenshaw. And needless to say, he was a tough player. But more importantly, watching Anthony develop into the young man he is, his future is very bright. And so for the first captain award this year, the coach's award goes to Anthony Kerrigan.
First of all, Luke, phenomenal job, man. That was awesome. Like Coach said, I'm really glad that we give out these awards because I think this individual was such an instrumental part of this team and deserves an award for his leadership and the things that he brought to this team. A team captain is someone that you should be able to believe in, someone that you want to follow, like Coach said, a leader on and off the field. You've already heard this story, but I think it's a great one. First day, freshman year, this kid walks into Coach Montoya's office, sits down, looks him straight in the eye and says, "Coach, I'm going to win you a state title." And as we've talked about earlier, he was probably about 30 seconds away from being absolutely right. A captain is a leader by example. And I can truly say this, that there's nobody on this team that outworked this kid. And we had a lot of hard workers on this team. But in the weight room, always doing extra sets, extra reps, out on the field, extra gassers, extra tire pulls, you name it. And he was pushing other guys to do the same. Early in the season, or actually late in the summer, I guess, I literally had to pull him off the field because he would have kept practicing, even though he had injured his knee, and we had to sit him out for a little bit just to rest him. But there was no way he was going to allow himself to be off the field. So almost physically had to pull him off just because he had that much desire to be out there. A captain is somebody that believes in himself, believes in his team, believes in the program, and exudes that confidence on a daily basis. I was probably harder on this kid over the past 2 years than anybody else on the team, yet every day he showed up confident in his abilities and just ready to go. Never affected him once. And I'll tell you this much, on Friday nights, there was never any doubt in this kid's mind that we were going to win the game. He was one of the toughest guys we had on the field. He showed up every Friday night ready to go with an amazing amount of belief and confidence. And, obviously, how can you not follow that as a captain of the team? A captain is someone that has true passion for his teammates, for his school, for his community, and for the game of football. Only this group had the opportunity to be in our closed Thursday meetings, but unfortunately for everyone else, you never had the opportunity to hear this kid talk. But every Thursday, he would get up and address the team, and every time he spoke from the heart, he spoke with true passion. Every time he was done talking, I was ready to jump up and go play a game right then and there. There is literally nobody that I've coached in my career that wanted it more than this kid did. And I loved watching the video of the Salinas game. I think it's kind of finally starting to settle in a little bit, but once I actually realized that we had won the game, the first guy I went to find was number 2 over there, because I knew how much it meant to him. I knew how much bringing home the blue banner meant to him, and how much those next 2 weeks meant to that kid. It was an extremely important part of his life, and that kind of desire has made him an awesome guy to coach for the last 2 years. It's been fun working with him. Unfortunately, that time is over, but the memories we've made, the time we've had, the relationship we've built over these last 2 years has been amazing. I love him as if he was one of my own. Johnny Callahan, team captain.
I have the pleasure of giving out one of the co-defensive MVP awards. And this was a kid that coaching staff came up to me and said, hey, we got a kid, he's going to play linebacker for you. I was like, I thought he played safety. And realized I was going to be coaching him, and I really had a question. How tough is this kid? It's a legitimate question. And then, once I saw him play, I was like, okay, this kid likes to have fun, but he's tough. And when he had guys come down and try to block him, the number 2 wide receiver specifically, you know, after they tried it once or twice, they really didn't like what they got. And this kid was physical, loved to have fun playing the game. He had 49 lips during the season. He had 13 tackles for losses. He had a great pick 6 against center, and then a block to stop another pick 6 right after. It's an inside joke. All right, so he was a great tackler. He was a leader. And one of the things he did, Brad, one of the things that you helped me with, is Brad really, he was intense. He played hard. But one time he came up to me and said, hey, coach, have a little fun. I was like, what are you talking about? And this is a kid that practices as hard as anybody, plays hard, has a sincere desire to win, and does what it takes to win, to be a great player, and he has fun while he's doing it. And that, he taught me. Brad, come on up.
So I'm going to present the second defensive MVP. I did want to say this. I thought throughout the year, I thought we played great team defense. So I think what I'm getting at is to choose an MVP of the team was not an easy thing to do, and it's been mentioned earlier, and I think it's important that you understand that this is who the players voted on, but I can't imagine it was easy for them because we had so many guys step up at different times throughout the years, or throughout the season. So many different guys lead the team in tackles, make big plays. But over the course of our 15-game season, I think the voters got it right with Brad and this next individual. My belief over the 15 games is that this was our most consistent player. He just kind of quietly always got it done. Probably only led the team in tackles once or twice throughout the season, yet by the end of the season, he was our 3rd leading tackler on the team, which again just goes to show his consistent effort. You know, we'd watch film as a staff, and it was like, man, this guy just always gets it done. He's around the ball, and when he's around the ball, he makes the tackle. For one of the quirkiest dudes on the team, he sure is one heck of a football player. It's definitely a hidden talent. But I don't think anybody on this team would argue with the fact that he was our best tackler this year, and especially in the open space, which is where he spent a lot of time. You know, just like Johnny, it's been awesome watching both these guys, but this individual progress over the past 2 years, from basically teaching him the game of football last year to this year, where he would come into team meetings on Mondays and he would be telling me, you know, what kind of communication calls we'd be making for that game and what our checks were going to be. He was already there and ready to go. I was probably equally as hard on him last year during his junior year, especially when it came to playing the ball, when the ball was in the air and competing for it. So this year he turns around and leads the team in interceptions, including another huge pick six in the center game the first time we played him, which was awesome. Really the only thing that hasn't improved, I think, over the last couple years is his knees. He literally has like an 80-year-old pair of knees. He wears these awesome knee braces. I'm surprised offenses didn't just look at him and go, we're going right at that guy. But, you know, the last thing is, out of a defensive MVP, and this is true about both these guys, but, you know, he's a great tackler, but you think about somebody that's a physical player and that's a hitter. And I don't know how he did it with that 130, 40-pound frame. But, what was that? When he had you in his sights, I mean, he frickin' brought it. And he brought it big time. He was a hitter, and he was a big presence on our defense. Another kid that I'm going to miss, that I've tremendously enjoyed coaching, and as some of the players kind of joke, my two stepsons, this one being the other one, co-defensive MVP, Colin Wright.
We also had two offense MVPs. You know, this first guy, the best way to, and needless to say, there were several deserving players that got votes. You know, I mean, Lewis Fudge had a heck of a year on the offense. Colt McRoy had a heck of a year. Blake Bachman. I mean, the list goes on and on of guys that had phenomenal seasons for us. But this player, when he got the votes, I was not surprised. One of the most explosive players that we've ever coached. Almost had 1,000 yards receiving, which is, at least since I've been here, is a school record at Placer High School. And my favorite part about him is he was a character. So Travis was always honest with me. He told me all offseason his junior year that he wasn't going to play. And I didn't want to believe him because of, obviously, the talent that he had. And finally broke my heart spring of his junior year. He said, Coach, I'm not going to play this year, but I'm going to play next year. And usually when a kid tells you that, you're disappointed, not only because you don't get to spend a year with him and coach him, but you're disappointed because the kid's going to miss the development that's just so important for a junior to have. And since I've been a head coach, this is my 15th year as a head coach, 11th year at Placer. There's only been 3 players who have ever missed their junior year and had the type of season that this young man had, and Travis was one of them. The other 2, one was Darren Senny, went on to play college football at Redlands and ran track for 4 years, and the other one's playing college basketball right now named Derek Haney. And so these are rare breeds who miss their junior year and still dominate on the football field. Obviously, he was probably hands down our best athlete, real close with Anthony, and didn't want to play defense, but immediately as soon as he started playing defense, decided to do it for the team. Told me that he wouldn't snowboard and do some of the crazy things that he's prone to do during football season because he wanted to do it for the team, and I think he kept his word on that. I'm not 100% sure. But needless to say, regardless, and there's Travis for you. Travis is Travis, and he was definitely one of our best players. I'm going to miss him. He's a lot of fun to be around. Our Offensive MVP Travis Warren.
Our next player, our other co-offensive player of the year, I'm going to take you about 2 years in the past, and this young man has not only developed as a football player, but as a young man. And I'll never forget sending Michael Stuck from my class that he was in to help this young man with his homework so he could stay eligible and pass his classes. And I'll never forget the last day of school, he runs up and he says, "I passed all my classes." I forget what the grades were, but needless to say, he passed all his classes and he was going to be eligible for football the next year. And this young man, all these guys remember him from this summer. He threw up every time we ran. It didn't matter. It would be 2 minutes in and he would start throwing up. But he was always there. And, you know, there's probably not a tougher guy that I've ever coached. You know, the Crenshaw guys were tweeting out that this guy ran like he was 230 pounds. And he ended up with 1,575 total yards, of which 1,480 were rushing yards. He led the team with a total of 23 touchdowns, 22 rushing and 1 receiving. And he really just brought a physical style of running that I've really never seen in high school football. That aside, you guys all got to see what he did on the football field every Friday night. But watching him grow as a young man has been even more amazing. His French teacher told the coaching staff at the end of last term that, and this is a teacher that's taught at-risk youth at Chana and all over, that she has never seen a young man grow up and become, transform in the course of 6 months more than this guy. Ended up with, I believe, an A or B in her class. I really can't look more forward to coaching him next year. I love him like a son. He is truly developing into a great young man, and fortunately for us, and unfortunately for all the other teams that we play next year, he's not going to throw up this summer, and he's going to get up to about 200 pounds. But truly blessed as a coach to be a part of players' lives. We spend so much time with them, and sometimes you invest time into players, and they don't end up coming around. But I can truly say that the sky's the ceiling for this young man, and there's no telling what will happen in the classroom and off the field, and then obviously next year in football. But I can't say enough about this young man. Our other co-offensive player of the year for 2017, Marshall Chapman.
So when I took in the votes for all the different players that got votes, this was the only one that was hands down the landslide, and this is to introduce our MVP of the team. You know, there's several things that you could share about this young man. You know, he was second in the team in rushing, had over 1,400 yards rushing. He was second on the team in touchdowns, and all those things are great. But that is not what defined who Mario was. You know, his freshman through junior year, he played linebacker for us, and he was a very good football player. He very easily could have been an all-league linebacker, and we asked him about midway through the summer if he would move the defensive end for us and for the good of the team, and without even batting an eye, and I don't think he loved it, but he did it because of the person he is. He was one of our ultimate leaders. He was a kid that, regardless of the situation, regardless of the person, regardless if the person was cool or, you know, not a cool player, it didn't matter who it was, he was our enforcer. He held everyone accountable. And I believe, was probably our most respected player on the entire team. He was tough, one of the toughest guys I've ever coached. His character was impeccable. His dependability was as good as it gets. He's also graduated from high school already and is working as one of his own company. And I told him this. I go, you know what? Because of who he was as a person, I'm not going to hesitate. Whenever I have some overgrown trees, I'm going to hire this guy. And that was a sincere compliment. I told his mom that he was a special young man because he is. And we're going to truly miss having Mario play for us as a 2-year starter for us, and was hands down the most valuable football player in the 2017 year MVP, Mario Perez. All right, this is the time if there's anything from the players. Is there anything from the players?
So you guys know how at the end of games we do he's got a guy? Well, I got a guy. There you go. So this guy, he doesn't always get noticed for everything that he does for the team. He always does unseen things. He's always out there with a pen and paper during games, taking notes of the other team's offense, defense, everything. And he's not a specific coach for a coaching position because he coaches everything else. He coaches life and things like that. So my guy is Senor.
I got a guy. This man's been a huge mentor for me in my life, gave me a job, taught me how to play football on a whole nother level. He coaches the offensive line. He's helped out all of us, and one of my best friends. So, Jimmy Besselman.
You guys can all, or I've got a guy. You guys can probably guess who I've got, but I've known this guy since I was about 10, and he went up to my dad one day and he said, "I'm like your brown son." And right then and there, I knew he was my brown brother. So I got to know this guy on a whole different level this season. He taught me not only how to kick, but he taught me how to be a better person. He taught me life goals and everything. I don't even know what to say to him. My guy is Yuli.
I've got a guy. So this coach, he helped me a lot through the year. He was super awesome and kind of weird. After after our camping trip, his nickname became Michael Phelps. He decided to swim across the lake, if you're wondering. Anyways, one of the best wide receiver coaches I've ever had, pretty much my only one besides freshman year. I mean, we didn't really catch the ball at all. We just blocked the whole time. But it was still fun. Anyways, super awesome coach. Always knew what to do on and off the field to teach us, like, I don't know, how to play football. And he's just a super good coach, and it was an awesome year, and I want to thank you for all the memories, Coach Peter Monaco.
All right.
I got a guy. My guy has been a tough and amazing coach. He made sure I understood stuff, and when I didn't, well, let's just say that rarely happened. Thanks for the amazing year in memories. My guy's Coach Sabins.
I got a guy. This is one of the most selfless coaches that I've ever met. He's one of those coaches who would make sure that the players had everything they needed. When we needed bags, he'd be the coach to run down to the other side of the field. And if you tried to grab bags from him, he wouldn't let you get them. He'd always make sure we had everything. He was one of the coaches that if you needed food, you could go to his classroom and get it. No matter what he had in his classroom, he'd give you it, even if it was from his own lunch. He was one of those coaches that was straight to the point with you. He told you what you needed to do to be a good player, and he never lied to you. He was a coach of few words, but they were words of wisdom. They stuck with you after you left the field on that practice day. He's a truthful coach, and he never lied to you, and my coach is Coach Murphy.
That's as eloquent as you've ever been.
I got a guy. Let's see here. This guy's one of the greatest coaches that I've ever been affiliated with in my life. He could be a head coach anywhere he wanted to, but he chooses to serve Placer High School and be a cornerback and running back coach. And 2 or 3 years ago, I think he had his first cornerback job and wasn't quite sure or 100% sure even how to play the position. He played quarterback. What else did you play? And then safety. But I remember he was a sophomore, and he'd have a lot of arguments with the players, and they'd like argue with them on like technique and stuff, like Buddha Robinson. He'd argue with them and all that, and I'd just be like, what is going on? But this guy, he's one of those people that is just an emotional leader, and like I said, he could be a head coach, and he cares about every one of you guys and every one of us, and cares about this community, and my coach is Coach Walker.
I've got a guy. Probably the most jack guy in this room, honestly. I made a bunch of great memories that I'll remember through the rest of my life with this guy, and he's a great friend of mine, Coach Rodarty.
We got a guy, and this guy, I remember meeting him as a freshman, me and Anthony both, and him just explaining the legacy and everything at Placer High School and how important this school was to him and football was to him, even though he was not able to play. And hearing him talk every day about how he wished he could be on the field with us and how much of a blessing it is really just gave me motivation, and I think everybody on the team motivation for us to go every Friday night and play with our hearts and make sure that he knew that we were playing not for him, but for the school and this community.
And the reason we're both doing it is because we both met Egan kind of together, and he was someone who always believed in me. Whenever I was down on myself, he'd always pick me up. He would text me. He'd tell me that I was a great player even when I didn't believe it. And freshman year and JV year also, he would take us out to lunch, buy us lunch. He's like family to me, and we both love him to death. So, Coach Egan.
I got another guy. Like everyone's saying about me walking in as a freshman and saying that to him, that was the most scared thing I've ever done in my life. Because I saw him when my brother played, and he was always he yelled a lot, and I was just not really, kind of nervous, and my brother told me some stories, but all in all, knowing Coach Montoya and knowing how hard he works and giving up time to hang out with his family, which is the most important thing to him, and he's really showed all of us how to be a good man, and to be a good husband, and to be a good father. But not only that, he has left a tremendous legacy for his family name, and he has grandfather and his dad who coached here, but honestly, after this season, I have put Coach Montoya at #1 as the best coach that's ever come to Placer High School. And saying that with utmost confidence, I will always cherish our relationship, Coach, and you've taught me so much about the game of football and just life in general. And I cannot thank you enough. So my guy is Coach Montoya.
Special group of guys that are leaving us this year. 2 other awards that they could grab at the end of the night. These guys were the touchdown production players of the game for the section championship game. The first one was on the defensive side of the ball was Brad Bishop. And the second one for the offensive player of the game, Mr. Marshall Chapman. So you guys grab those. A sincere thank you to the families that are here and for giving us your boys, for a huge time commitment. And most importantly, a huge thank you to these players and to these coaches and for the time that they've put in. More than any other team that we've ever coached, this team watched more film than any other team we've ever coached. We've made some huge changes to our program the last 2 years. And with that, because of that, we've had the most challenging summer that we ever had, an off season that we ever had. We actually asked more of these young men than we've ever asked out of any other team that we've ever had here at Placer High School. And every single time that they were given that challenge, they rose to the occasion with flying colors. Thank you for the memories. And remember the lessons that you guys have learned throughout your season here at Placer High School. Remember the lessons from the Colfax game, being down 27-7, having your back up against the wall with Colfax having the ball, the first down 10 inside the 10-yard line. Curtis Staggs blocking the field goal, Chandler picking it up or returning it, and then Lewis Fudge with a beautiful blocking and the wind back hit from Anthony that led to the touchdown right before half. And still facing all the adversity. And the interesting thing about the Colfax game, there's 2 games that defined our season. It was the Nevada Union game, which may come as a surprise to you because it was one of our losses and it was ugly. But it was exactly what we needed. And the Colfax game. Because when we faced Salinas and we were down 21 points, there was 0 panic. There was 0 uncertainty. Everybody just looked at each other and said, we're going to get it done. And we got it done. And even in the Crenshaw game, when it was going back and forth, all of us had the utmost confidence that we were going to get it done, and we almost did against a team who was phenomenal. So thank you for the memories. Thank you for the time that you've put in. To the seniors, we will sincerely miss you. You are a special group of young men. Please do not be strangers. Come by and say hi often. Actually do it, Travis. And I look forward to seeing what you guys do in life because I have no doubt that you have big things ahead of you. To the underclassmen, the bar has been raised. We've already met and talked. We get back after it on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. And so get ready to rock and roll. And as I've already told you, avoid the noise. You have to earn everything you're going to get this next season. Don't listen to anybody about how good you're going to be. Go out and earn it. Just like the senior class has set the tone for us and taught us how to do it. Proud of everybody in this room. Thank you very much. God bless. And it's great to be a Hillman.